Hey, big boy, I think you're there, which is good. I'm just getting set up for Zoom, for Facebook Live, which takes a little more time. And there we are. Okay, that should do it. Great. So, hey, big boy. Those of you who are seeing us on Zoom or Facebook Live, this is a technical rehearsal for tonight's presentation of Christmas Truce. So we're just getting set up for tonight. We don't begin until 8 on the button down here at the center in beautiful New York City. So we're just getting set up. I'm just going to do some tests. We're going to begin on Zoom, and before I can communicate through chat. So we're checking for echo, weird electronic echo. I know there's normal echo in here, but is there a weird electronic echo? We're now checking for sync. We'll check again. Good. And now we're checking for the zoom feature. Make sure that is working. And now we're going to check quickly for loss of screen. Whoops. And we should have lost this. It back. Good. And now we're checking for distance of sound. We're checking for the distance of the sound. Am I audible? Am I intelligible? Am I understandable? I'm now distant sound. I am distant sound. I am now distant sound. And a distance, I'm at a distance. I'm trying to find out if I am audible. And I'm traveling with this voice now. Is this voice audible? Is it understandable? Can you hear everything I'm saying? So that was a check for distance of sound. And if you can let me know in chat, boy, that'd be great. Okay, so let me see chat. Chat. Okay, so just let me know in chat. Okay, let me just look. It's a long entrance. Good. Okay, so over here, if I articulate over here, if I'm really, really precise, does that help with the distance with the sound? So that's a question for you. If I am articulate over here, facing the mic,
facing the camera. Does that in fact help? Yes, thank you. Okay, so we will go over to Facebook Live. Okay, good, thank you. We'll go over to Facebook Live now, and we'll do our checks on Facebook Live, and I'll give you a second to get there. So those of you who just start catching us, we have a live performance here in New York City at the center, the LGBTQ Center in person, but you can watch us on Facebook Live, also on Zoom, and we will start at 8 o'clock tonight. So join us at 8. This is a technical setup, a technical rehearsal. So I'm going to try us on Facebook Live, our usual things, echo, weird electronic echo, the sync. And then let's try our Zoom feature. Okay, and then let's try our loss of screen. Very good. And finally, let's try our distance of sound. We're checking distance of sound. Our distance of sound. We are now distant. Distant. Our distance of sound. Distance of sound. We're checking our distance of sound. How is our sound at a distance? Okay, and if you can tell me, big boy, just in the text feature, that'd be great. Those of you catching us, we're just setting up for tonight's performance of Christmas Truce, which begins at 8, same as on Zoom. Okay, thank you. So you got somewhat better. If I articulate it at a distance, you got somewhat better. I know I'm like competing with sound around me, with vibration, but it's somewhat better if I articulate. And if you could respond in text, that'd be great. Those of you tuning in, we're just doing a technical setup for tonight's performance of Christmas Truce, coming to you live on Zoom and Facebook Live. So if you can respond in text, big boy, that'd be great. And I'm guessing you've signed off. I'm not seeing anything. Let me just check here real quick. Same as on Zoom, okay? Well, I will take that. You can be understood, but it deteriorates. Okay, thank you, boy. Okay, so thank you, everyone. And we are now going over to final get ready stuff. So check back in with us tonight at 8 in just a little bit, right here from the center in New York City on Zoom and Facebook Live. This is a free presentation, yay. All right, thank you, boy, love you. And I am going to go Well, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Yay! This is the Essential Services Project. So in March of 2020, we had a show that was extended and it was shut down. And suddenly we're at home and we couldn't see anybody and we couldn't be in theaters. So I decided to start doing solo shows online so that people could watch and we could reach our audience and I would have something to do. So I did a new show every week. And I did those on Saturday. And then on Sunday, after the performance of the show, I started to work on the next show. And somebody is saying, there we go. And I started working on the next show. And then I would like start working on the script, I get the props together, I start doing the tech, I rehearse. And then I had a new show on Saturday. I didn't know what I was going to do the next week until the previous show was done. So I'm up to over 70 shows now. And in the summer of this year, I started inviting people to come see them. So thank you so much for being here. You guys are great. Those of you watching at home on Zoom and Facebook Live, you can help out too. You know what I'm going to ask them to do? I want you to make sounds, okay? I need like machine gun sounds and explosions, right? So can we practice some? Can we have some explosions? Great. And machine guns? Love it. Great. And people at home, you do it too, right? I can sense you out there. It helps. It helps a lot. Do some for us at home. Great. Good group at home. Goodness. Now, also, I'm going to need the lights to flash. Could you flick the lights when I ask you to? Let's have a little rehearsal. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, they're slow. They're like delayed. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. It's a sensitive instrument. Yes.
Just up, not on and off.
Yeah. Flick like you were doing. Like I want lights and yeah. Okay, great. You're gonna be great. You got the feel of the switch. Yeah, it's got a weird delay on it. So thank you so much for being here, and we're going to start in just a moment. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Yay! Cheese. Jingle bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, tick up. Jono, look at you. My goodness, it's good to see you. Welcome home from college. You look terrific. How are you doing? Yeah? Well, welcome home for the holidays. It's always a pleasure. How are you doing at school? How are the classes? You got the best majors ever. What is it? History, dramatic arts. Proud of you, son. What would you like to drink? I got everything. I got gin, I got vodka, I got some bourbon. If you want to try that, must have been a Christmas gift or something. What? A Coke? Oh, God, you still drinking Coca-Cola? Jesus, kid. Listen, I can't take you to Bohemian Grove if you're drinking Cokes. I have to get you a drink, kid. Remember that time you came and you ordered a Shirley Temple? I'm still hearing about that one. I'll have a Shirley Temple, please. People come up to me this day and say, where's that kid of yours that ordered the Shirley Temple? Now, Shirley Temples are fine, but in future, you just say a 7-Up with some grenadine in it, right? Yeah. So, what have you got for me this week, huh? Storyteller. You got a story for me? You always got something good. Yeah? The Christmas truce. What the hell? Oh, I know about the Christmas truce. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Christmas truce. Yeah. Yes. Now, wait a minute. Yeah, World War I, Germans and the French and the British and the soldiers all said, "Phooey, this is just a load of malarkey, this war." And on Christmas Day, they all walked out into no man's land. And they sang carols and they exchanged presents. That's a Christmas truce. No? Is there another Christmas truce? World War II. This I never heard of. Oh yeah, Dad, it was great. It was in the middle of the Second World War during the Battle of the Bulge in the Ardennes forest. Now, the weird thing is that there were very few Christmas truces in the Second World War. In World War I, there were a bunch of them because the soldiers were all kind of the same, right? They felt a lot more loyalty and affinity for each other than they did for their commanders, the kings, and the generals, and the presidents. So they were naturally drawn together because it was like the birth of socialism, right? The workers came together. But in World War II, that didn't exist because there was a lot more animosity between peoples. People were either fascists or people living with democracy or communists, right? But now, in the middle of this battle, a remarkable thing happened. You see, in World War II, there was like race wars. There was wars between Germans and Russians, Germans and Jews, and Americans and Japanese and Chinese. There was all this animosity. But I found one moment in the whole conflict where through a miracle, people actually came together. Well, tell me about it. This is fascinating. Yeah, if I hang on a second. No, I'm interested. It's fascinating. Yeah, this is why I love when you come home and tell these stories. Yeah. Christmas truce in World War II. Let's hear about it. Okay, so it was during the Battle of the Bulge, and I know you like my costumes. And there were 3 soldiers out in the woods, a sergeant and 2 privates in the United States Army, and they got cut off from their troops, right? So they're trapped behind enemy lines, Germans everywhere, tanks, planes, German soldiers surrounding them, and they're out in the middle of a battle. Give me some explosions. Flashlights. That's great, thank you. It was the biggest battle of the Second World War, and they were lost in the middle of it. Oh my God, this is spectacular. Dad, it was incredible. This is wonderful. Did you get this Army surplus? This is incredible. You got a real American helmet. I haven't seen one of these in years. I look like George S. Patton. Yeah. Okay. Tell me more. No, come on, Dad. I want you to tell me something. Tell me something about your job. You never talk about being an attorney. I'd like to hear about one of your cases. Yeah? Tell me one of your cases. I know nothing about what you do. You don't want to hear about my cases, son. Insurance law, it's terrible. It's the worst possible profession. And you don't want to hear about it. Oh, come on, Dad. I'm fascinated. I want to know what you do all day. What makes all this happen? You work so hard. Tell me the story. Son, it's just awful. It's just a terrible, terrible profession. Oh, come on, Dad. What case are you working on right now? Tell me what you did today. All right. Well, it's actually a pretty interesting case. You think about it. You know, the cable cars are so popular with the tourists, right? So the most popular cable car line, as I'm sure you know, is the Powell Mason Street line, right? And everybody loves that. So it goes up and down all the hills. And it's just amazing. And they all like to hang out on the outside of the cable car. It's just incredible that it's still legal for them to hang out. I mean, they're literally hanging on the side of a wooden cable car, bouncing up and down the streets of San Francisco. It's just criminal. but the law was godfathered in, so the tourists can do it. Now, everybody's favorite part of the Mason Powell Street line is where Mason intersects Washington. So you're coming down Mason Street, and the tracks take a sharp turn up Washington Street. Now, if it's a really good driver, he knows just when to release the brake. So it builds up speed and whoop, swoops around up Washington Street. It's just incredible. Tourists love it. So, as you know, I represent Fireman's Fund, and they insured a motorist, and he parked his car on the corner of Washington and Mason. He didn't park it very well. It was perhaps the shittiest parking job of all time. And about 3/4 of the car wasn't even in a parking space. It was hanging out in the intersection. So you got a car with its back bumper extended almost to the cable car tracks, okay? So on the cable car that morning is a tourist. He's a young guy. He's about 40 years old. And he's hanging on the outside. And his first time in San Francisco. And beside him is his 8-year-old daughter. And she's hanging out there with him on the side of the cable car. So the driver gets to the top of the Mason Street hill, and he sees the big moment coming up. So he releases the brake, and the cable car comes swooshing down Mason Street, and then it takes that sharp right turn boom, up Washington Street. As it's rounding the corner, the bumper grabs the legs of the little girl, grabs the legs of her father, yanks them off the cable car, and end up sprawled in the middle of the intersection. The cable car now is racing up Washington. Everybody's screaming. Cable car driver yanks on the brake. The cable car screeches to a halt. He flies over the brake, hitting the windshield of the cable car with his head, collapses on the floor of the cable car, and he has a concussion. They take him to the hospital. Before the night's over, he's dead. In the middle of Washington and Mason Street intersection are the tourist and his little daughter. Their legs are shredded, sinews, blood, viscera, muscle, bone. They'll never walk again. So here's the thing you have to understand about what I do, because you're going to get the wrong idea. The next part of the story I tell you, the victims are going to get their money. They're going to get insurance money. They are going to get money. Everybody's going to get the money they deserve. It's just a question of who is culpable. Now, obviously, Fireman's Fund seems to be culpable because the motorist insured by Fireman's Fund did a shitty-ass parking job in the middle of Washington Street. I mean, obviously, but there could be extenuating circumstances. So Lloyd's of London is the underwriter for the San Francisco Municipal Railway. And it might be that the driver should have been able to see the car parked where it was, braked earlier. It might have been that the driver had been told not to do the big turn, that was now considered illegal. It might be that the driver had a history of reckless cable car driving. It might be that the driver was drunk. So it's my job to see if perhaps the driver is culpable, in which case Lloyd's of London would pay the insurance claims. That's what I did today. I went to the hospital to see the little girl and her father. It's just pitiful. They're still in ICU. I went to see the little girl, and she couldn't talk to me. She had this contraption over her legs, covering her legs, and she was sedated and on oxygen. Just pitiful. So I went next door to see her father. I introduced myself, and her father is, he's never going to walk again, neither more. He was under the covers of his bed, and he looked up at me and he said, "Have you seen my daughter? Have you been next door and seen her? Do you know what her favorite thing to do is? Play soccer. She wants to swim. Her mother was teaching her how to play tennis." Who do I think is responsible? Well, the last thing I saw before I saw my daughter's screaming face was the bumper of a car in the middle of the intersection. That's who I think is responsible. The driver, I don't know. I didn't talk to him. He seemed like a good driver. I wasn't really paying attention to the driver. Well, he was rude when we got on. He was rude. That's all I remember about him. I didn't have the right change, and I got on, and I told him I didn't have the right change, and he said, well, get the right change, and he was very rude. And so I went to my wife, who was parked nearby, and she dug into her purse, and she got the right change. I gave him the change, and he didn't even say thank you. He was extremely rude. Well, that's what I did today. So, tell me more. Tell me more about the Christmas truce. Come on, son. Tell me about it. Sure. They were trapped behind enemy walls, and the Germans were everywhere. They kept ducking into bushes because these tanks kept coming by. And they realized that they were on a road and they had to get off the road. So the sergeant decided they should go up into the Schneeifel Mountains. They should actually scale the mountains. So he led the men off the road and he said, be quiet. If they hear us, they'll pick us off like ducks in the shooting gallery. So they ascended the Schneeifel Mountains. Okay, it's okay. Next, come on. I love it. Do it, Sarge. Okay, Sarge. Okay. All right. Now, when I land, I need a huge explosion for both of you. Okay? Be quiet. Yeah. Give me your sweater. Give me your goddamn sweater. Cover his mouth. Cover it for me. Okay. I think I stopped breathing. Okay, we gotta get him out of here. We gotta get him inside. Over there. What's that? Looks like a cockatoo. I mean, yes, I was like a Jones. Might just be a family. Come on, get up. Get up. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Come on. Hold him. Ja? Ja? Was ist los? Ja? Nein, Americans, nein, Deutsch, German, no, no, they shoot me, American, here, nein, they, ma'am, he's bleeding to death, ma'am, for God's sake, let us come in, please, bitte. Yeah. Says no one, just me and Fritz, boy, 5, yeah, boy, yeah. He needs some food. Do you have any food that you can give him? Your guns, rifles, outside, not in house. Yeah, Fritz, take the rifles. The boy will take the rifles and put them outside. Yeah, food. Yes. No food. No something. Food. He needs food. Heinz, the chicken, Christmas chicken, yeah. We will, yes, chicken. Fritz, bring Adolf Hitler. Bring Adolf Hitler. No, we don't want Adolf Hitler. No, it's chicken. It's not an Adolf Hitler. It's chicken name. Yeah. Right. Fritz, yeah. Somebody make a chicken sound. This Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler tot, yeah, dead, yeah. Fritz put, yeah, you are welcome, but stay in the house. Kitchen, cook, Adolf Hitler, cook, yeah, yeah. You stay back. Fritz, you stay back. Keep the door closed. Door closed. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Dad, come on. Tell me about the case. What did you do next? I'm fascinated. You sound like a detective. What did you do next? You like hot on the trail, right? Well, after the hospital, I went to visit I went to a bar. Well, come on in. Now, you're a stranger. You just opened an office around here? You look like an intern. No, what are you, an architect? What would you like? Gene Gibson. My pleasure. I get you, man. So, what can I do you for? You look like a man on a mission. Yeah. Yeah, I read about that. I was wondering when you were going to come in. Yeah. So I thought maybe you could help me. I have a picture of somebody here. I thought maybe you could take a look at it and identify it. Do you recognize that? Do you recognize that woman? No, I don't recognize that woman. Who is she? Yeah, well, we never brought his wife in here. No. Look, let me tell you something. A bartender's like a psychiatrist, right? If he tells his clients secrets, guess what? They don't trust him. They stop coming in. So I'm not going to tell you anything about the case, okay? I know him. I know what happened. I'm not going to talk. You're going to subpoena me, huh? And then I'm going to lose my liquor license, right? No, I'm not with ABC. I know. The judge knows everybody at City Hall, and I'm going to lose my liquor license, right? If I don't talk to you, okay? Yeah. All right, fine. What do you want to know? Go ahead. He never came in with his wife. Yeah, he came in with other women. Sure. He was a regular. So I subpoenaed his credit card statements, and it seems he had, judging by your prices, 6 or 7 drinks the night before the accident. Yeah, that's about what he always had. Is that all? No, he had more. How come he didn't pay for them? Well, good customers, I pick up the bill, okay? They drink a drink, they drink another, I give them the 4th. Every 4th I give them, okay? That's how I keep my customers, okay? Was he drunk when he left? Yes, he was always drunk when he left. Did he leave with the young lady? Yes, he left with the young lady. So yes, they probably kept drinking, okay? I don't know. He did drink in the morning. He never came in here and drank. I don't know what he did. The rest is supposition. I can only speculate. Yes, he probably went off with the young lady and drank. And was he hungover when he came in the bar in the afternoon? No, he wasn't. He was sober. I can't speak for the way he was in the morning, okay? Does that help? Do I have to come to court? Do you want me to take a deposition? Well, I don't know. Just gathering information, but thank you. What do I do? No, that's okay. It's on me. Don't worry about it. Thank you. So I went to see the widow of the cable car driver. Ma'am, I'm just going to take a minute of your time. Thank you for talking to me. I was just curious. You're curious about my husband. Is my husband now going to be put on trial? My dead husband? Are they going to pin this on them? Right? So your insurance company doesn't have to pay, but the other one does. Is that what's going to happen? You're going to ask me what he did with his nights. I don't know what he did with his nights. He drank, I assume. And he had friends, lady friends. I know that. I know all about it. You're not surprising me. My husband wanted to be an artist, and he ended up a cable car driver. And for years, he was bitter, and we argued, and I yelled at him to get over it and to grow up, and then I just stopped. He loved our children. He took care of them. He took care of me. And yeah, we didn't get along. We didn't speak. Okay. And he had a whole separate life that I know nothing about. And it involved girls and drinking, and he might have been up drinking all night before the accident. I don't know. But yeah, it's possible. Okay? You heard it from me. Okay? Would you testify to that in court? No, I wouldn't. As a matter of fact, because it is hearsay, it is supposition, it wouldn't hold up in court. And additionally, I don't want to testify to that in court. Well, I could subpoena you, man. Yes, but you cannot compel me to give evidence against my husband. This is confidential information, and I don't have to say anything, okay? So go ahead and subpoena me. I'll just embarrass you in court. So who was knocking at the door? The Frau went to the door, and it could be anybody, might even be her husband. She wasn't sure, so she opened up the door, and standing there was Guten Abend, Fräulein. I am Lieutenant Most of the Panzer Grenadiers. These are my soldiers got lost. Can we come in and get warm for an hour or two, maybe overnight? We're cut off from our units. You can, of course, but you cannot bring your guns in. There are people here who you will not like. Americans. You could be shot, Florian, for having Americans out. There are no guns in this house. There'll be no shooting tonight. It is holy night. There'll be no shooting in this house. If you want to come in, you'll have to give your guns to Fritz. This is my boy, Fritz. Yeah? Give your guns to the boy. Fritz, yeah? You be careful with those guns. You put some with the others and don't mix them up. Guten Abend, gentlemen. Well, hello there. Go around the fire, yeah. Yeah. We will have chicken soon, and potatoes, and we have bread, proper nickel. We have no wine, unfortunately. We do not have wine. Oh, I have wine. Yeah, for that I have wine. My family grows Riesling grapes. Yeah, we grow, and we bought a good German wine. I carry this with me everywhere. It's okay, Lieutenant Most. Yeah. Yeah. Your man is sick. He is unwell. He's wounded. He stepped on a landmine. My corporal is a medical student at München Hospital. He can look, yeah. Dankeschön. It's okay, stop bleeding. The cold has prevented infection. It's okay, but he needs food and rest. Yeah, we have food. Bring him over to the table. Everybody gather around. Yeah, Fritz will serve. Everybody be seated. This is a Christian household. So we will say grace and hold hands. Give us grateful hearts, our fathers, for all thy mercies. And keep us mindful of the needs of others. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. 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 I'm Jewish, so yeah. Well, everybody, help yourselves. After dinner, we will rest by the fire, everyone, and have a good night's sleep. Merry Christmas. Oh, good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas. You must go. You cannot stay. Fritz will get your guns. It's a beautiful morning outside, beautiful blue skies, full of planes of both sides. So you must go, though. You cannot stay. Anybody could come. Please get up. Fritz gives them their weapons. You know which ones get which ones. Okay, please, gentlemen. Where are you heading? Well, we have to get back to our units. Don't go east. East is Panzer Grenadiers. Monschau, that's where my men are. That's the direction we head. You go west. West, your division is west. We don't have a compass. I've known you by compass. We meet again. You give it back to me. Otherwise, a present. Yeah? Auf Wiedersehen, American. Assalamu alaikum. Well, I decided I had to go to the hospital and see if there was anything you could tell me about the death of the driver. I got there and there was a real character of a nurse, male nurse. He reminded me a lot of you. Oh, yeah. Look at you, another attorney. The attorneys are always coming down here after accidents. I can't keep track. Now, who are you here to see, big boy? That's a nice suit. You know, but you're wearing a summer suit in winter, right? Yeah, you have to get with the seasons, kid. The cable car driver? Yeah, I should have known what it'd be by about him. Well, it was very sad. He got a concussion and he just passed away. It was pitiful. It's just pitiful. But that happens, yeah. Well, there's no other story, sir. That's the... So if I don't tell you, you'll subpoena me, I'll end up in court. You know, I can't go into court. Judges don't like me. I was a conscientious objector, yeah, during the last war. Judges do not like me. So what can I tell you? Okay. He came out of it, the concussion, the day after, and I was with him, and he asked what happened, and I told him. And I guess he figured that they'd pin it on him, right? I don't know what his story was, but he said, they're gonna blame me, they're gonna blame me. I said, don't worry about it, sweet pea, they're not gonna blame you, you're worried too much. And I tucked him in, and I made him feel better. So when I left, he was okay. And there was nothing in the room that he could do anything with, right? There's some pills, there's some knives, no nothing. He bashed his head against the wall 8 times hard. He gave himself another concussion. He figured if he didn't do that, they'd pin it on him and his wife would never get the insurance money. So he offed himself. Maybe it looked like it was a concussion, he had the accident. So he decided, well, if no one asks, he died of natural causes. Well, if a concussion and an accident is natural, huh? Irony is that, of course, now he's dead, and I've told you that it was a suicide, and she's not going to get any money either, right? Because suicides, they don't get any money from insurance companies, do they? It was so nice talking to you. And of course I'll give a deposition. Just keep me out of court, sweetie. I'll do whatever you want. Yeah? I have my rounds, so if you're done with me, I gotta go. What happened with Christmas troops? What happened with the soldiers? Well, they all got back to their units, and one of them spent the next 40 years trying to find the others. He tried to find that woman, he tried to find the little boy, Fritz, he tried to find the other Germans, he couldn't. And he was watching TV one day, and Ronald Reagan made a speech about them. Somebody had told one of Ronald Reagan's speechwriters about this Christmas truce. And of course, he was trying to bring the Germans back together with the Americans. Like, what a mess that was. But anyway, he actually invoked this story, and he found the researcher, and he actually made contact with the little boy. The little boy, he's in Australia. Little Fritz, he made contact with him, but he never found any of the other soldiers. And to my knowledge, and I'm writing a paper about this at school, to my knowledge, that's the only Christmas truce in World War II, the only truce of any kind, because of all that hate, all that animosity. It's impossible. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna let, you're just gonna let it fly? And I mean, you're gonna let everybody think it was a suicide, right? Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough, right? Well, son, I'm not paid to do the right thing. I'm paid to rule. You're joking, right? Come on, it's easy. What do you get? Fireman's Fund can't afford to pay out. They've got buttloads. Yeah, well, so does Lloyd's in London. Oh, come on, you're kidding. That's the story. I told you I didn't want to tell you the story. But you did it. Really? Son, I have a lot of evidence. It could be circumstantial, but with the nurse's testimony, I think a judge won't even let it go to trial. Or just say, driver error. Easy enough. Wow. Guess I don't want to hear about your job anymore, huh? Hey, let's go see your mom, okay? She's right in the next room. She'll be thrilled you're home. You look great. Come on, bring your drink. Now, what are we gonna do this year? We're gonna cut down a tree, we're gonna buy one. You like to cut them down, don't you? Yeah, okay. We're gonna go up together, the two of us, just basketball. We're gonna get a big tree this year, right? And we're gonna buy some more decorations, and we're gonna, oh, how are you, honey? Good to see you. Mark the Herald Angels City. Thank you. Yay. Thank you, guys. Those were great explosions. Really, that was great. I can't do the mime without an explosion. I can't do it myself. Thank you for joining us on Facebook Live and on Zoom. That is our Christmas performance. We'll be back in the new year with something, and eventually in a theater with lights. So keep tuned in to Sassymouth Presents. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to our studio audience who are terrific. Let's give them a round of applause. And happy holidays to everybody. Oh, that is a true story about the Christmas truce. And the story about my father is 2 cases, which both happened. a suicide in a hospital and the cable car with people's legs being destroyed for life. And I put them together. And yeah. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.